All right, cool. So we're gonna speed through this one right here. So so the government obviously the defense, right, as you guys know, NBA YoungBoy has a big and strong legal team. So what do? They file a motion to suppress, okay? And now to the court, through undersigned counsel comes defendant Kentrell D. Galden, who moves this honorable court to suppress from use at trial any and all evidence seized and obtained in violation of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights, okay? After reviewing the the discovery provided by the government, the defense asserts that law enforcement engaged in a self-entitled operation named Never Free Again. I already know what's about to happen here. So, this is a blatant and arrogant misappropriation of the multi-million-dollar internationally successful music and marketing enterprise Never Broke Again. The operation appears to have been instigated with the purpose of seeking a criminal charge for Kentrell Galden without regard for his constitutional rights and those of the people around him. You know what? Let me enlarge this for y'all. Okay. Discovery shows that law enforcement misled, lied, and failed to disclose important facts to a newly elected state court judge in multiple affidavits. Oh, shit. So these are the allegations by the defense, guys. And just to let y'all know, what is discovery? Discovery, guys, is, let's say I arrest Doll, okay, for, I don't know, fucking making drill analogies when it comes to fornication. All right, drill analogies and walls. Hey, that's a crime. You hurt my feelings in the court of feels, so you're going to get arrested, right? So I have to go ahead now, and I have to provide something called discovery, okay? And discovery, guys, is basically all the evidence that the government has to go over to the defense, okay? So the defense can analyze the evidence, you know, build a defense, and go ahead and, you know, prepare for trial. So the defense, I ain't gonna lie, they're kind of grasping at straws here, but I get it. They want to go ahead and paint the picture that the police are racist. Okay, let's just call a fucking spade. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm gonna tell y'all what the defense is trying to do here is they're trying to paint the Baton Rouge Police Department as racist and going after a young, successful black man that is making money and bettering his life. And that's what the way they're gonna write this down. Okay, remember, guys, the defense's job is to dilute the water to a degree to cause what? Reasonable doubt, okay? You got to get proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense's job is to create reasonable doubt. That's all they got to do, okay? So what they're trying to infer here is that the police department is racist. Remember, guys, it was the Baton Rouge Police Department that that initiated this entire altercation. All right? And remember, the search warrant was done with state search warrants first, okay? And we're going to talk about why this is a problem here later on. I'll give you guys some of my personal experience with this. But they're trying to basically paint them that they had a hard-on for this guy and he was unfairly targeted, all right? Which is you know what, man? That's what the defense does. That's their job, okay? Law enforcement led the state judge to believe that its actions of September 28th, 2020, were based solely upon information provided by a reliable source. Okay? And remember, guys, we read that in the police report. There is no basis of reliability of this source because the information was actually from an anonymous 911 caller. Multiple sworn affidavits misled and misrepresented to the court the nature of the information provided by this anonymous 911 caller. For example, police swore that the reliable source informed that 2 street gangs had gathered on an abandoned property. Remember, guys, they talked about Never Broke Again and the other gang. This picture paints a potential gang fight about to erupt. The true facts from the 911 caller reveal nothing more than legal activity that was not threatening to her or anyone else. No crime was articulated. She identified the gathering to be in front of the rapper's grandfather's house as opposed to asserted abandoned properties. Oh, Lord. The defense is fighting back. Law enforcement responded an overwhelming number in the form of police cars and officers in such manner that was certain to create fear in these young black men and turmoil for the neighborhood where none existed prior to police display of force. And I showed you guys the neighborhood before, pretty quiet, small neighborhood, nothing there, right? Law enforcement then executes a dragnet to detain, handcuff, and arrest 17 young black men, including Golden. No crime had been alleged, but law enforcement used this 911 nuisance complaint as an opportunity to unleash Operation Never Free Again. Law enforcement herded, cuffed, and set dozen or more young men on the asphalt road in the middle of numerous police vehicles. No probable cause or reasonable suspicion existed for most part, if not all, of those arrested. Law enforcement disregarded their rights as they searched, seized, and questioned and trampled upon their liberty, seeking a crime to charge Cantrell Golden. All of these men were charged and booked with essentially the same crimes with little to no effort to individualize the charges of the facts. Golden was charged with possession with intent to distribute oxycodone, possession of a stolen firearm, and possession of firearm with controlled dangerous substance. All other arrestees were charged with almost identical charges. To this day, no charge related to the facts of September 28, 2020 have been brought in state court against any of these individuals. So they're trying to say that, oh, the feds just had an unfair case against them, blah, blah, blah. All right. So let's see what he wants to, let's see if I could skip through some of this suppression of statements. Because this is pretty long here, guys. Now, if you guys got, okay, certificate of service. Can we go through all of this? Memorandum in support of motion to suppress. Okay. Because we still got, this is the actual ruling from it, because they actually had the suppression hearing, and then the factual background. Okay, you know what? Let's go with what he wants to get suppressed. That's going to be important, I think, for the thing. Any chats, doll?
Yeah.
That you can pull up real quick. Pull up a couple of them while I get this stuff ready to go about what he actually wants to get suppressed.
There's more comments, and then the other one was blank.
Okay, can you pull them up? Pull up those comments.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Myron, working hard, thank you, and that's from Michael Me-Stroke 5. Can you read them too?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, the other one is blank.
Here, I'll put it on you. Okay, the other one's blank. Super sticker. Just give him a shout out then.
Okay, shout out to Antfo.
Antfo?
Yeah, Fo.
Antfo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Y'all bring in some more super chats though.
Thank you so much, Antfo. I appreciate that greatly, my friend.
Mm-hmm. And like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Okay, so now we're gonna go over what he wants suppressed. Okay, so he wants suppression of statements. Wait, hold on. Was there anything else? There was something else he wanted suppressed. Okay, all right, never mind. My bad. All right, the context. So right, they're mad about the name, right? You know, it was actually went to his grandfather's house, right? So 24 hours. You know, they're basically saying that they mischaracterized him, right? Now, BRPD, Baton Rouge Police Department, Officer Kennedy was the first officer to respond. Officer Kennedy's body camera sets the tone for how the police conducted themselves during Mr. Golden's arrest. First, the initial responding officer does not show any fear or belief that he is in any danger as he approaches a group of men standing outside. He does not wait for backup and exits his unit alone. He does not draw his weapon. He does not call for backup, and he does not report observing any weapons to dispatch personnel upon exiting his vehicle. Next, he begins to corral the young African-American males and detain them, starting with the first person he can physically grab despite not observing that person do anything wrong. Mr. Golden is nearby and is wearing a purple shirt. He is not in possession of any firearms or other contraband. He remains on the scene and does not flee. However, Mr. Golden was detained and within seconds handcuffed and placed into the back of the police unit, where he would remain for several hours until family being brought into the police station for questioning. While our discovery review is still ongoing, at this point, we have not observed Mr. Golden being advised of his Miranda warnings properly. Okay. Pause. Stop the show real fast. So a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the camera on you the whole time. My bad. They probably want to look at you anyway. It's over me. So, so a couple things here. Number one, when you're a police officer and you roll up and you got 10 plus guys, whatever, there's nothing wrong with detaining them and putting them in handcuffs. I know that sounds horrible, but guys, it's a high crime area. He knows who the fuck they are. Let's be honest. He knows that they're NBA, right? He knows that he's outnumbered. So there's nothing wrong with making yourself safe, okay? and detaining and or putting some of these guys in handcuffs, because you're more from at least from the facts that I have, they're a 911 call. Okay. Now, also, when you detain people, you don't necessarily have to tell them their Miranda rights when you detain them. But since he arrested them, right? They arrested them. They're saying that they did not properly advise them of their Miranda rights. And one of the Miranda rights, again, no, it's not fresh going on a date with a white girl. It is, you have the right to remain. You have anything you want to say to that?
Yeah, nah, it's just funny. I'm just laughing.
All right. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say could be used against you in a court of law. You know, anything, and you have the right to an attorney, blah, 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 right? Simple shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that they didn't advise him of his Miranda rights properly. When he is detained, nor do we see him advised of his Miranda warnings when at various times officers approach him and dialogue takes place within the unit. Certainly no warnings were given when he was questioned at the police station and no written warning was signed. Now, let me tell y'all something about the state. With the feds, I'll tell you guys this right now. We over Mirandize people. When I was an agent, I would Mirandize people even if I wasn't intending to arrest them, just if I wanted to talk to them. Why? Because I knew that it was just safer to Mirandize them. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Well, if you Mirandize them, they're going to say, what the fuck? I'm not going to talk to you. My thing is this. I always used to phrase it a certain way. Okay? If you guys want me to tell you my little trick, maybe I'll tell you guys later on in the show, a little secret sauce today to get people to talk. I
want to hear that sauce.
But the point is the reason why you do this, guys, is so that if they give you any statements that you can use, they don't get thrown out. Because if you don't Mirandize them, you can't throw them out. And here's the thing. They don't necessarily have to be under arrest. They just have to feel as though they're not free to go. So it's a custodial interview, okay? That does not mean you have to be under arrest. It could be them taking you to the police station. It could be them putting you in the back of their car. If the defendant does not feel as though he is free to go and you're asking him questions, you got to Mirandize him. Now, this is something that the state fucks up all the time, guys. All the time the state does this shit. With the feds, in federal court, they take Miranda extremely seriously, okay? Which is why I'm not surprised that his defense is attacking them on Miranda. And this is the thing. State officers, a lot of the time, local police, state police, even like state investigators, they fuck this up all the time, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you, because the state does not have the same burden of proof that the feds do. The feds cross their T's and dot their I's, baby. That's why they don't lose. The state, a lot of time, they're sloppy. I'm going to be honest. They're sloppy a lot of the fucking time. I mean, you guys read that police report. That shit was atrocious. Okay. Certainly no warnings were given when he was questioned at the police station, and no written warning was signed. More troubling, Mr. Golden's known counsel, James Menessa, would come out to the arrest scene, make his presence known, and is given the opportunity to speak with Mr. Golden. Mr. Mensa would also go to the 1st District Police Station that evening and meet Mr. Golden while he was detained inside of Officer Barcelona's unit and prior to his formal interrogation. Law enforcement knew that Mr. Golden was invoking his right to counsel and knew he was represented, and yet still attempted to question him without a lawyer. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's a big fuck up. That's a big fuck up, guys. So that's fuck up number... So number one, they didn't read him his Miranda rights. Fuck up number two, he had a lawyer. Y'all didn't let the lawyer come in when you ask the questions. Especially if you know that the lawyer's showing up, you gotta wait, bro. You gotta wait. You can't like, nah. When Mr. Golden was detained, he had a significant amount of money on him. That money was seized under the ruse that the jail could not account for such a large sum of cash. Despite that claim being untrue, even hours after Mr. Golden's arrest, the officers detaining him could not articulate a single charge for his detention and acknowledge that he knew the money was not drug money. Simply put, they had nothing to charge him with until they gained access to his film footage, which would show him handling 2 guns referenced within this indictment. Law enforcement blatant disregard for Mr. Golden's constitutional rights as evidenced by his prolonged detention without any observable crime or failure to provide him with adequate Miranda safeguards and a complete disregard for his right to counsel set the stage for how little deference law enforcement had for the constitutional provisions that govern the propriety of their course of conduct. This cavalier attitude would continue with the preparation of various search warrants, which recovered one of the weapons within the indictment, along with incriminating film footage of Mr. Golden. Also, want to let y'all know The reason why they were able to take the money is because they articulated that it was for it was weak, but they still had the ability to do it. They articulated that it was for drug distribution. As you guys can see in the police report, they wrote there. And this is the importance of reading the police report, then reading the suppression hearing. You see how we're comparing and contrasting things here, guys? Right? That's why I wanted to show y'all everything so you guys can also see what the hell's going on. But we looked at the police report, and in it, they seized it because there were distributable amounts of drugs, and it was packaged in certain ways where they were able to articulate that it was drug trafficking. Now, is it plausible that $80,000 that they found was all from drug trafficking and not from him being a fucking famous rap artist? No, but it allowed them to seize the money at that point. Okay. All right, film footage. The defense seeks to suppress the entirety of the film footage documenting Mr. Golden's whereabouts, though a more specific focus will be upon the footage of him possessing the weapons found in indictment on or about the date listed therein. It will be undisputed that Mr. Golden is a famous local rapper. Even the police officer detaining him recognized the fact that he suggested Mr. Golden to Mr. Golden his awareness that the accused had the means to legitimately possess large sums of cash, and even commented to other officers that they had detained his Cantrell cameraman. In fact, Mr. Golden is one of the most popular rappers on YouTube, and his videos have reached record level heights, according to Rolling Stones magazine. In fact, his YouTube videos have been viewed more than 8 billion times. Okay, what is the defense establishing here? That they knew that he has money. Okay. Marvin Ramsey, also known as Rich Porter, is one of 3 cameramen producers tasked with following Mr. Golden around and filming Mr. Golden in private settings. Mr. Golden owns the footage with all the property and privacy interests that accompany such viewership until such a time as he may choose to make select portions or clips of the footage public by incorporating the select clips into a futuristic music video. By virtue of filming Mr. Golden's life around the clock, the footage contains highly private, intimate footage of Mr. Golden within his family homes, eating with his family, socializing with friends, family and children, etc. Simply put, his footage captures Mr. Golden's private life in a very intimate way that may only be viewed by law enforcement if they had embedded undercover agents within his closest inner circle. This private film footage is called B-roll film. It simply documents the artist in real life or behind scenes, and proportions can be used down the road when necessary for commercial use, when should Mr. Golden or his production team deem portions of it consistent with the artistic messaging needed for a particular video or social media post. The sheer volume of private information collected by law enforcement is particularly concerning, as it is believed that the seizure of this equipment has placed law enforcement into possession of footage documenting Mr. Golden's most private moments for the past year. They were only able to gain access to this information by an impermissible seizure of the hardware containing the footage and search of its contents. Okay. Guys, so this is going to get fairly detailed. I'm not going to lie to y'all. If you guys want me to continue breaking this down in the same detail that I've been doing, give me a 1 in the chat. If you guys want me to speed it up a bit, give me a 2 in the chat. I'm going to go off what the people want. 1 in the chat if you guys want me to keep going at this detail where I'm reading the document with y'all, right? Taking our time. Or 2, if you guys want me to speed this up a bit. See what y'all say.
It's like 60-40.
60-40?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it like another 5-10 seconds. I want to remember, guys, 1 in the chat if you guys want me to keep going in this detail. 2 if you guys want me to speed it up a bit. I think just to give you guys an ETA, I think if I keep going at this rate, I could probably get this done within the next hour. Just so y'all know. And just so y'all know, don't worry, I'm going to put timestamps in this motherfucker. So that's another thing as well. So give me a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to keep going at this rate. I will put up timestamps in it. And I think I estimate this will take me probably about another hour to finish everything. Or 2 if you guys want me to speed it up. Okay.
I see more 1s.
It's overwhelming 1s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're probably thinking like on the watch back or anything like that. So no, don't worry, guys. I'll put timestamps in it. Someone says switch up topics. We could do another case tonight. No, my friend. I like to break down these cases in really good detail. Next week, I'll probably give you guys Rollo. I'll probably give you guys Rollo next week, so we'll see. Okay. So our supporting memorandum will lay out more of the legal basis supporting this constitutional violation, but the crux of our argument rests upon one, material misrepresentation made to get the search warrant, coupled with the other constitutional violations referenced within the discussion on why all Mr. Golden's statements to law enforcement need to be suppressed, and two, facial flaws within the warrant itself as well as the supporting affidavit. The warrant to search the camera and accompanying SD cards was requested by BRPD officer Joshua Barnett. This guy, we got a lot to talk about with him. The warrant seeks to search the camera Mr. Ramsey was holding when he was detained, along with electronic storage devices recovered during the search of an Escalade associated with Mr. Golden. The warrant's opening salvo is perhaps the most misleading as it contains at least 5 material misrepresentations. It references information from a reliable source, number 1, 2, concerning 2 named street gangs, 3, brandishing firearms, 4, while filming a rap video by an abandoned house. All of these statements are false. These statements were made with reckless disregard for the truth, and law enforcement knew or should have known that these representations were false and misleading. First, the reliable source appears to be a neighbor calling 911, yet the supporting affidavit contained no information that would allow a magistrate to adequately assess the credibility of source or the reliability of the information provided. Okay. So when you say that you got a reliable source, guys, an informant, you have to be able to establish in the affidavit why that informant is reliable. If you guys remember, we did the affidavit, I think, with was one of the drug cases I broke down. And in it, you guys saw, informant 1 is such and such, and informant 1 has been documented to be useful in such and such investigations, etc. So whenever you bring in a reliable source, you need to be able to document how that reliable source has been reliable in the past, okay, in the affidavit. Now, at the state level, you might not need to do that, okay, which is why a lot of the times state search warrants get tossed in federal court, because the state, okay, the threshold to get a search warrant for the state is here. The threshold to get a search warrant at the feds is here, guys. It's extremely difficult to get a federal search warrant. So what a lot of people do is they try to circumvent and they get a state search warrant, okay? And a lot of the time, state search warrants get thrown out because they have bullshit. It's not written well. It's not articulated well. They'll mention something like a reliable source, but then they'll not talk about the reliable source. So this right here, guys, is an example of when taking shortcuts does not work. Okay, now, granted, in this case, these are state officers, so all they know is the state court system, okay? This will fly in a state court. This ain't going to fly in a federal court. Second, the 911 caller does not mention rival street gangs in general, much less by name as indicated in the warrant. Third, the 911 caller makes no statements that could be construed to mean the individuals were brandishing firearms. The 911 caller suggested that she observed individuals carrying firearms. She never indicated the firearms were pointed at anyone or used to threaten or intimidate anyone. Fourth, the 911 caller does not mention the filming of video. This insertion is critically important because it is omitted from the vehicle search warrant applications. However, conveniently, when one search the camera devices, this reliable source suggests these 2 street gangs are making a video. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Fifth, the caller actually suggests the young men were in front of their grandfather's home, which is adjacent to the vacant lot in an abandoned home. The tone of the opening sentence suggests a potentially hostile situation was taking place. Such a suggestion is contrary to the tone of 911 call and inconsistent with the actions of the first responding officer, whose body camera footage demonstrates neither a subjective apprehension by the officer or an objectively reasonable fear, since no one is holding guns as far as counsel can tell. The police asked to search the camera and related accessories because they believe it would have footage of people handling weapons, and they believe that several suspects in custody were convicted felons. The only basis for that belief is the reliable source, which is the 911 caller who did not mention the video. They simply had no evidence to provide the judge what would be on the camera, much less who it would implicate further. Even if the court finds that there was adequate probable cause to search the footage filmed that day, law enforcement indiscriminately seized nearly a year's worth of footage from various devices and evidence on scene that was processed in a sloppy manner, that such that it is impossible to identify where the device which the incriminating footage was actually located and recovered. Okay, this is very important, guys, because when you do a search warrant, you need to clearly articulate what you're going to search, what you're looking for, and why you have enough evidence to search whatever it is, whether it's a device, a home, whatever it is, a phone. Additionally, the warrant is completely silent regarding a similar call and home search the day before. We believe this omission was an intentional act by the affiant. The search warrant was signed at approximately 9:54 p.m., roughly 5 hours after Mr. Golden was effectively arrested on September 28, 2020. When these misrepresentations are excised from the warrant, there simply is no basis whatsoever to search the camera or its components. Lastly, the plain language of this warrant lacked the specifically required for a constitutional search. On its face, the warrant seeks to search the address of 3866 Chippewa Street, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to locate a Sony 7R camera, MacBook Pro computer, and SD cards. The language of the warrant does not authorize the extraction of any electronic data contained within these devices and orders the affiant to, if things specified are found there, to seize it and hold them in safe custody pending further orders of the court. Holy fuck. Okay, guys, I can say from my experience that when I search a home, back when I was an agent, okay, or I search any a property, or I arrest someone and I come across a phone or whatever it is, I always had to write a search warrant for that device on top of the fact that I had a search warrant for the house. That's just the way it goes, okay? Because the rule is this, guys. Does the person have a reasonable expectation of privacy? Okay? One more time, because this is very important. I want you guys to understand this. This is what the Fourth Amendment hinges upon in the United States of America. Does the person have a reasonable expectation of privacy? Okay? If the answer is yes, 9 out of 10 times, 10 out of 10 times, you're going to have to get a search warrant. Now, are there exceptions to search warrants? Yes. Destruction of evidence, fleeing, is a big one. Destruction of evidence. So let's say I'm chasing a guy and I know that he's gonna fucking destroy evidence or whatever, and I need to go search an area. That's a big one, right? That's a big exception to the rule. Or hot pursuit. These are all exceptions in general. But you need a warrant 99% of the time, guys. Okay? And the fact that they found the SD cards and everything else like that, they should have done another step and gotten another search warrant for the SD cards and for the cameras. Okay? Yeah. That was definitely a and here's the thing. Again, guys, this is where the state fucks up a lot. I'm gonna just have to be honest here. This happens all the time with police officers, with detectives, with guys that work at the state and local level. Their prosecutors are not as sharp as AUSAs. I'm just going to fucking say it, man. Okay? They're just not, because ADAs have way more cases than AUSAs. What is an ADA? An ADA is a state prosecutor. What's an AUSA? A federal prosecutor. Okay? Assistant district attorney versus an assistant United States attorney. Okay? AUSAs in the United States, most of them average around 10 to 15 cases that they're carrying. ADA carrying 50 to 100 cases. The dumbass dude that's getting drunk on South Beach that gets into a fist fight, he gets prosecuted by ADA. The guy that goes ahead and does capital murder and shoots his girlfriend in the head because he wants to get home life insurance, that's going to go to ADA. So they have everything, guys, in between, from the trivial bullshit cases all the way to capital murder. So they have a huge caseload. So guess what? They can't prosecute cases with the same aggression, tactics, and care that AUSA is, which is why the federal court system doesn't lose. They just cross their T's and dot their I's better, guys. I'm just gonna say it, for lack of a better term. So this is a perfect example of the state trying to bring a case federal and fucking up. Okay, simple as that. This happens all the time when I was an agent, all the time. They'll come to me, hey, I got this guy, we did this and that, I want to bring the case federal, and like a detective or a police officer or whatever, I want to bring the case federal, and I'll look over the case and I'll look at it and I'll be like, nah, I ain't taking this. Hell no, because I already know what's going to happen. I know that there's going to be a suppression hearing coming. Now, guys, this is what they filed to do the suppression hearing. Okay. And guess what? They get the suppression hearing granted. And I'll tell you guys this. I've done a million suppression hearings. It is not fucking fun, guys. It is not fun at all. It's almost like a mini trial. Okay. They bring you in, they grill you, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because if you lose that suppression hearing, you might lose the case. Okay. All right, let's hit some of these super chats real quick. NCAA young boy. Myron, that really, oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. I got y'all with the super chats right now. All right. Great content, FNF Dallas. Thank you so much, Rod. I appreciate that, my friend. $5. NCAA young boy. Myron, that really was young boy on Google Maps. I don't know if someone else already mentioned it, but it's all over Reddit. He's the one in jean shorts. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Cali 209, the devil is in the details. Facts. Big facts. You always got to get a search warrant, bro. Out of an abundance of caution, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? All right. I'm going back here, guys, making sure I don't miss anyone's super chats. Perk 30. Shout out, Myron. You saved me from deleting myself. Hey, where's Christina Gaines at? She's home. She's chilling, bro. She'll probably be back this week sometime. Let's see here. What else do we got here? We got. Okay, Myron working hard. Thank you. All right, got you. All right, guys. What time is it? All right. Someone said Myron is dabbling in the dark. What you got to say to that, doll?
I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all can have your own opinions.
There you go. Fuck you guys. So, okay. Also, the warrant references multiple electronic devices recovered from different locations and fails to specify specifically identify these devices. The affidavit makes no attempt to articulate probable cause for each of the electronic devices, despite some SD cards. We don't know which ones or how many were located inside the camera recovered from Marvin Ramsey, nearly a block away from 3A66 Chippewa. 2 SD cards were recovered from the front seat of the Dodge Ram truck, and 1 SD card was located in a backpack in the backseat of the Cadillac Escalade. The affidavit fails to indicate what reasons, if any, law enforcement had to believe that incriminating evidence would be located on each of these devices, and therefore the warrant lacks the specificity required for a constitutional warrant. Okay, so they want to. Basically, guys, they want to suppress the SD cards located everywhere. Let's see here. All right, so we got that handled, right? So now we're going to go ahead and get into the ruling portion. And I have an idea, guys. I'm going to give you guys my conspiracy theory here, okay? Because I think I know why this search warrant was written so poorly. I think I know why. But I'll reveal it at the end. It's going to be a little bit of a potential bombshell. But I'm starting to, I'm like, the more I read this, the more I'm like, man, this is some stupid shit. What the fuck are these guys doing? But I'm starting to think, I know why these people, it was written like that. It was written so blandly. Okay. Okay. So they got search warrants for the cars, which gave them, okay, the background search warrants. Okay. So let's go ahead to, this is all the evidence, by the way, just so y'all know. 911 call, right? They got a lot of shit. Search warrant on cameras, search warrant for Cadillac, Cox Communications, search warrant for the Dodge. Okay. A lot of this stuff was done by the state, by the way. Okay. So an FBI agent showed up on the scene, it looks like. Schutz S.A. Sullivan conversation. And then here's the ATF trace report. This is probably what showed that that gun was not in the registry, right? Which is why he got hit with that Title 26 charge. Search warrant, affidavit for search warrant. Okay, right. Okay, so this is like the fucking thing, right? The government exhibit log, right? And motion to suppress hearing and motion to reconsider. This was scheduled on October 18, 2021. So here we go. Now we're gonna get into a very big part of the case, guys. Here, all right. Any new chats came in?
Yeah, one.
Can you pull it up and read it real quick?
It says the only dark that Myron deals with is the legs and thighs at Popeyes on Tuesdays. So what you gotta say about that? You like Popeyes?
And we got the #1 chat in the world, bro. That's all I gotta say to that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so the matter is before the court on the motion to suppress filed by defendant Kentrell Galden. The United States government filed an opposition to this motion, and Galden filed a reply. The court held a 3-day evidentiary hearing. The court ordered the parties to file post-hearing briefs, and both parties complied. The court then requested supplemental briefing, which both parties filed. For the reasons set forth, Galden's motion shall be granted and in part denied in parts. Okay, so he won and he lost. Okay, so let's get into it. Factual background. All right, we're going to go over the quick facts of the case. And as you guys know, I'm sure you guys heard the facts from a million people, but let's go over it here, just so y'all know. Galden has been charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 18 U.S.C. 922. Okay. The court finds the following facts by preponderance of the evidence based on the evidence presented at a Franks hearing and a contemporaneous motion to suppress hearing. Okay. And guys, just so you understand, a motion to suppress, okay, quick little background on it. They bring you in, you come in, they put you in under oath, and they try to suppress certain portions of an investigation that they may feel that the police illegally obtained evidence or inappropriately obtained evidence, and there was disregard, or they didn't collect evidence properly. So in this case, what they're trying to suppress is the photographs, right, or the video footage that came from those SD cards, because they believe the search warrant was not specific enough to be able to properly get the evidence from those SD cards, which I ain't gonna lie, they kind of have a case. All right. The events critical to deciding the motion began on September 27, 2020. Okay. So on September 27th, a reliable source informed a senior Baton Rouge Police Department officer that a group of people were on Chippewa Street carrying firearms and filming a rap music video. This senior BRPD officer relayed the information to Sergeant Jesse Barcelona, a patrolman who had previously been assigned to the Baton Rouge Street Crimes Unit, who then investigated. Sergeant Barcelona and 4 to 5 other officers in this unit went to the scene but were unable to corroborate the information provided by the source. Okay, so guys, this is the day prior to the 28th. In other words, the officers did not find any firearms or evidence of a rap video filming. According to Sergeant Barcelona, he was unable to corroborate the information related to him because he did not have sufficient manpower to conduct a thorough search. By the way, guys, they brought all 4 of these guys and they subpoenaed them. Okay, just so y'all know, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up for y'all so you guys can see it. They actually subpoenaed these guys, man. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So let's enlarge this bad boy. Okay. Right here. Okay, right here. Return of service of subpoena. For Connie Kirsch, Sergeant Connie Kirsch. And then here, return of service. Right. Boom. Subpoena to testify at a hearing or a trial in a criminal case. You are commanded to appear in the United States District Court at the time, date, and place shown below to testify in this criminal case. When you arrive, you must remain at the court until the judge or a court officer allows you to leave. And that's on August 18th, 9:30 a.m. Okay, so he had to show up. This is the guy that actually wrote the affidavit, by the way, right? So he showed up. So they were sending these guys subpoenas to show up because they're not federal agents. So the court has to give them a formal subpoena to show up. Okay. And then you know what? Let me see here. So yeah, they brought them in a couple of times, it looks like. Yeah, so they brought them back in fucking September. Guys, like the video, by the way, if you haven't already. And subscribe to the channel. Ain't nobody gonna be able to break down these federal cases like this for you guys, man. All right. So they brought them in a couple of times. Okay, so where are we? So we are in a suppression hearing. Okay, so in other words, the officers did not find evidence of the rap video, blah, blah, blah. According to Sergeant Barcelona, he was unable to corroborate the information related to him because he did not have the sufficient manpower to conduct a thorough search. The next afternoon, officers were dispatched to 3800 Black of Chippewa following an anonymous 911 caller's report that there were several people walking around the area carrying firearms. Sergeant Barcelona heard the dispatch and relayed to Sergeant David Kennedy the information from the September 27th reliable source, even though the information could not be corroborated. So that's important. So the day prior is when they actually got the information from the reliable source. The next day, they got a 911 caller. Sergeant Kennedy was the first officer to arrive on the scene in the evening time, maybe 5 p.m. Footage from Sergeant Kennedy's body camera reveals that he parked, exited his unit, and immediately grabbed the nearest person by the shirt. Sergeant Kennedy, still holding the person's shirt, then ordered several other people to sit down in the street. After those people complied, Sergeant Kennedy handcuffed 4 of them together and proceeded to order other people in the area to sit down in the street as well. At this point, oh, and here is the actual 911 call.